Shamai Elite Dangerous chums, and welcome to another video. Today we're looking at the Cobra Mark V, which got released for credits rather than arcs yesterday. So if you have the Odyssey expansion, you can purchase this right now for credits, which is nice. It's a recommended vessel, it's essential, it's brilliant for a couple of reasons. But I'm going to talk to you from a viewpoint of exobiology and surface settlement raiding through this video. So I'm going to show you the build first, and I'm going to talk to you about performance, and then we're going to come to the conclusions and talk about how it compares to other vessels. Is it in the top 5 of exobiologies? Is it great for surface settlement raiding? Well, honestly, you could use whatever you want for surface settlement raiding, but I'm going to talk you through that build right now. First off, this build is mainly focused on exobiology, but you can adapt it very quickly to surface settlement raiding. So remote release fleshette launcher is one of those adaptations. I'll be using that soon enough for that. And then you also don't want to have any weapons on for an exploration build. Of course you don't, but you will want a heatsink launcher. This isn't essential even for long range exploration. I've never really used it, but in case I make a really stupid mistake, it is really useful. So there it is. Lightweight alloy, heavy duty G5. Yes, standard for both exploration and surface raiding. Power plant G3, overcharged with thermal spread. It's a reasonably cool ship, so you don't need to worry about the overcharge heating, and the thermal spread offsets it enough. But it's good. You could overcharge it a little bit more for surface settlement raiding if you want to go off on one with the weapons, but you probably don't need to. Thrusters. This is where you're going to argue with me. 4A G5 with dirty drive drag drives. Yes, that's essential for something like surface settlement raiding, for running away when it all goes wrong. But I think it's an essential for exobiology, because that's the way I like to do it. I like to have great maneuverability and a little bit of speed. So notice it boosts to 670 meters per second, which is much faster than the Mandalay, which is 550 or something like that. So great ship for speed, for doing the exobiologies. 4A FSD. Increased range, G5 with deep charge because it's a smaller unit, but you could argue mass manager. Drop the comment in of why you'd use mass manager. I can't verbalize it. I know why it is. Did a night shift, end of the night shift run, tired, exhausted, gotta tell you that. Life support. Also bear in mind, the best unit in the FSD is the pre-engineered SCO drive. And this is a great SCO ship as well, because it's built for SCO, which I will show you. Life support and sensors need to be derated, and you need to lightweight both of them. G3 on that, or more if you want. And the power distributor, I've gone for a 2A charge enhanced G4, which could be G5 ideally with super conduits. But this will work for your surface settlement raiding. It gives you enough boost to keep you going, and it's an excellent speed ship anyway, so you only often need one boost to get away from ships. So 2A, you could argue a 3D unit, but it's potatoes, so I think the 2A is better for my perspective of putting it in other ships. Let's have a look, potentially that unit, which I won't do, I'll leave it in this ship. Guardian FSD booster. Now this is the real bonus compared to the Viper Mark IV. It's a 5H unit, which is one class up from the Viper Mark IV. But as well as that, we still have a 4-ace fuel scoop, which is very good for a small vessel. Works nicely, so you can go for a couple of stars before you need to fill up again, and the rate is pretty decent. Auto field maintenance unit is essential for any long range kind of work, although it's a medium range explorer. If you're doing neutron star boosting for long range, you want this unit. Maybe it's overdone to go 4A, but I had the space, so I used it. Why not? And this is turned off as well. Make sure you turn it off, because you can't leave it turned on with that power plant. Planetary vehicle hangar. This should be turned off as well. I don't think it is, but it's a 2G. Now you can upgrade this to a 4G unit, and that's going to be for surface settlement raiding, for in case you lose one of them and you need a spare. That's why I've put it in a 4 slot, so it's easily changeable. Also, what you want for exobiology, now you don't need that for exobiology, you can delete that entirely if you want, no problem. It's more for long range stuff, but collecting materials, but you don't even need that if you have enough materials. Now, what you will need though is a 1D repair limpet controller in case it all goes Pete Tong and you smash it and take a bit of damage. And have this cargo rack. Do not put repair limpets in there though. Synthesize them. Make sure you have the units for repair limpet synthesis when you're out in the black. But you should not need it. But for any high G landings that go out massively wrong, yes, you might need it. 3A shield generator, reinforced shield should protect you from most problems. High cap, I know you're going to disagree, you're going to tell me put a 3D in it with all kind of low power draw nonsense, but honestly, just if you're going to go, at least if you're going to go A-rated thrusters, you're going to need these shields to buddy up with it for this build. So don't go tight, don't go lightweight on your shields at all. If you're going to be boosting, and especially me as a shift worker, I do make mistakes because I'm tired, that's my excuse. I'm also not good enough at flying, to be honest. So for experts, do what you want. It's your build. Detailed surface scanner, expanded probe radius is one of those engineering things which are nice to have, but not essential. But I would have it on, just to make it easier. G2, but it could be G anything. That's your build. Onwards to the flying. Do you want to charge your FSD while you're doing the fuel scooping? Well, you'll have to do it during the tail end of your fuel scooping endeavour because it does build up a little bit of heat. It is manageable. You can shave a couple of seconds off your time, but it's not a dolphin and it's not a Mandalay, but it is okay. And then if you want to do some SCO kind of work, so Super Cruise Overdrive, you can get to 7000 C, so it's faster than Mandalay. Hell, we should do a Dutton orbital run on this bad boy and see how it does, because it should do better. But as you can tell, it doesn't heat up significantly, 53% throughout this excursion, no problems whatsoever. And it's pretty fuel efficient, not as efficient as a Mandalay, so it might struggle a bit on the Hutton orbital, but it's excellent. Flying wise, well, let's do a view from the bridge. The big difference, the big thing the way it excels over the Mandalay there is what the visibility down below, so you can see your plants a lot easier if you're a person that just likes to fly flat. For me it's pretty insignificant because I always tilt forwards, but it's a very nicely designed cockpit. I like it. I like the cutaway floor section. It's really is usable, and in VR it's a better experience than the Mandalay for sure. So flying around, it's got decent boost speed, so I talked about 670, and there we go, we'll boost away. If you're moving between biomes, you're going to get there pretty quickly, slightly quicker than the Mandalay, and performance-wise, it's got decent handling as well for when you're in the mountains. So it's just a fun ship to fly. It's really enjoyable, really forgiving, and I've bounced it off quite a few rocks. That's mainly user error, but it's a comfortable flyer. You can turn nicely, and you could even do FA off, which I've not done here, because let's face it, I'm not really good enough, especially when I'm a bit sleep deprived from the night flying. But yeah, it's excellent. But it's just a pleasure to fly, and it's better than the Mandalay, but not massively better, to be honest. I think I enjoy both of them equally. I'm not sure I can pick one over the other between this and the Mandalay just for flying. It may be a bit different on the D-rated drives. You might get better performance that's more noticeable on this than the Mandalay, but as I said, I don't use D-rated, and when we're getting down lower down, you're a bit more comfortable with this, but you can have accidents though. But it's just a pleasure. This isn't how you fly when you're looking for exobiology specimens. We'll get into that in a minute, but you can see how decent it is and how it's a lot better than the likes of the Viper Mark IV, which doesn't handle as well. It's not as forgiving. It's easier to bounce on. You find yourself bouncing off more rocks with the Viper Mark IV, which is the main competitor, I think, for small vessels. Now here I'm going to show you the actual bounce. We're going at about 500 meters per second. When I do it, it's not a direct hit, but I don't imagine you'd be doing this kind of thing. as a direct hit at this kind of speed. It's most likely to be a glancing blow where you make a mistake. Look at this here. Significant bump, got down to, was that 15? So we didn't lose our shields, that's the important thing. So you could do a little bit worse without losing your shields. I've not gone full tilt into a mountain to see if it will be destroy on that, so I mean maybe it will, but I don't imagine I'd be that bad. So that is the performance. It's pretty decent. So landings, now this is the big one for exobiology. Look at this mountain. It's a near vertical, but I got a bit lucky with this little ledge. I'll show you it in a bit more detail. So you see it's just a very slight perfect ledge that I managed to get on. That's the kind of thing you're looking for. You're not always going to find that, and sometimes I struggled, and this one was a lot quicker than others. And I'll show you the other thing as well about this, is that often it's all about that ground clearance, so you can't quite see it from this distance, but if I have a little toddle underneath this vehicle, you can see we don't have a lot of ground clearance, much less than the Mandalay, which is a hell of a lot more forgiving on ground clearance, even with the massive wingspan of the Mandalay. So I'm not sure wingspan, it is a massive difference with the Mandalay just because of how low down it is. So let's look at it again with this one that I did. Look at that, it's almost touching. You get some clipping there, so it's going into the rock, but we got lucky because it clips in, so that's fine. But as you can tell, it's not brilliant with ground clearance. You've got to be careful, and sometimes you're spending a long time looking for the perfect spot. I did not abandon any species at all, so look at how long it took me. It took me a couple of minutes to find the perfect landing spot to get that blue signature. But if we're comparing it to the Mandalay while we're looking at this, the Mandalay, I've only ever lost 1 or 2 species where I've absolutely given up. And I imagine it's the same kind of thing with this, but perhaps a little bit better. But I'm not 100% yet on whether it is that much more significant to the Mandalay. Now then, let's have a look at the conclusions, and we're going to deal with the easy one first. So as a surface settlement raider, it is an excellent ship. It's got some really good utility options, and it's an SEO optimized vessel, which means it's better than the Cobra Mark III, but at 5 to 6 million, if that's significant, I don't think it's enough of a reason to, because you can wang on an SEO drive on a Cobra 3, no problem. So it's not necessarily better, and you could use the Mandalay as well. It's got better jump range. If you're bouncing all over the bubble as I do, the Mandalay is a better ship for me for a lot of the time as a surface settlement raider, and I prefer the Courier as well. It just feels more sleek. I like the cockpit, but basically use your favourite ship, but this is certainly a contender for being the best settlement raider in the game for sure. Exobiology wise, there's a lot more questions, and I thought this was going to answer all the questions, but it brings more questions than it does answer. Now, the first thing, it's a very good exobiology ship. It's certainly in the top 5, but is it better than the Mandalay? Well, that all depends on your perspective. Now, it's got slightly better handling, but that is not noticeable. That's not enough of a reason. You've got a slightly better landing footprint as well, but you've got worse ground clearance. So overall, it probably is slightly better than the Mandalay, but is it significant enough for you? Because you're going to lose 20 light years range, which the Mandalay has compared to the Cobra V. So that might not be good enough reason. So the other thing is as well, with what we're talking about the footprint, is that ground clearance is worse, but the Mandalay, yes, you might say, well, it's got a wider wingspan, but because it's lifted off the ground quite a lot, I think you seem to get the same amount of wing clipping in the Mandalay as the Cobra V, so I'm not sure that's a good enough reason. As long as you, but yeah, it's going to make the landings a bit more tricky in a Mandalay, but just rotate to the right direction, and you will be able to land it, I think, no problem. But I imagine you'll get slightly better landings on the Cobra V. The other thing that the Cobra V brings to the table is the view from the bridge. So if you're flying in VR, or if you've got eyeball tracking, then being able to look down is a boon. It's much better, the preferable vessel out of the two by far. But as any expert exobiology knows, you can just point the nose downwards and use your thrusters, your lats to keep you off the ground while you're going forwards or while pointing downwards. That's not a problem. But is it better than the Viper 4? This is the big question, because they're both similar vessels, both big, small vessels with a decent landing footprint. I think the Viper 4 is a slightly better footprint than the Cobra 5 because of the. I think it's all about that wing clipping and the kind of how low down on the ground it is. Although the Viper 4 is quite low down, it's more compact, I think, and the shape of it, the Viper 4, is better. But you do have worse visibility on the Viper 4, so therefore in VR you're going to choose the Cobra 5 every time. The Viper 4 is a bit cheaper as well, so the Viper 4 13 million Exobiology build compared to the Cobra 5, which is 18.5 million. The Mandalay is 72 million, but as any exobiologist knows, you're going to make all of that money to buy all three vessels, no problem, on your first trip out. If you're using the optimized stratum tectonicus method, as is in the description, then you will be able to earn 300 to 400 million per hour, no problem. So that leaves me with an odd feeling. It's brought more questions than it's answered for the exobiology and exploration in general. And what I think the answer to that is, honestly, the real answer is we need the Sidewinder Mark II. I think that is the one that's going to be the deciding factor in which is the best exobiology ship ever. That would be the one, honestly. Jump range and very small footprint. That is going to be the champion 100% if they ever bring that to the table. But the question is, which explorer should I use for the Distant Worlds 4 exploration mission, which is a hell of a lot of jumping. So the Mandalay is the immediate answer to that question, yeah, with 80 light years, but the Cobra 5 is worthwhile as well. It's only 59 light years, it's medium range, but it's still doable. But the curveball is, of course, a Sidewinder. I got that to just over 40 light years with a pre-engineered drive, and you've got the speed as well with the advanced thrusters. So the Sidewinder is definitely a possible choice that I might use. What do you think I should use? Drop it in the comments. Drop any of your builds in the comments, especially if they're counter to what I've produced here, to give people other things to go for, a different viewpoint as well, and give me your reasoning and anything you disagree with. It's always welcome. But thank you very much for engaging. Thanks for chatting if you do engage, and thanks for watching the video right until the end. And I hope it has been useful to make your decision on whether to purchase this ship or not. I'd say purchase it. The question is when you purchase it, really, that is the real question. But thank you very much for watching. Have a great day if you're playing Elite Danger 8, and drop a like if you like. Thank you.